Hello everyone, welcome to Claret and Booze. God, these daily rambles, they're like buses, aren't they? You don't get anything and then two come along at once. Before we get into this video, I haven't give our long-term channel sponsor, the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company, a shout out for quite some time. So if you can head over to them, you'll find a link to their web store in the description, and place an order with them if you like your tea and your coffee. Brilliant stuff. My favourite, my staple tea now is Pluckley tea. Brilliant stuff. Cheap as well, cheaper than the supermarkets. Get over there, give them a look, support a local business. They're brilliant. Now, why am I going to be recording a second video within the space of a couple of hours? Well, you know, I was quite placid earlier on, and then, you know, I was flicking through YouTube earlier on, and, Talksport popped up, and it was good in some respects, but frustrating in others, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. Before we get into this video, please, if you're new round here, subscribe. Don't forget, drop a like on the video and hype me up if you got any hypes left, you know. Okay, so this was a video where fans took exception to Stuart Pearce basically calling Upton Park crap and telling us to just, you know, we had to move and, you know, you just got to get on with it and accept it, West Ham fans. And the West Ham fans that phoned in were fantastic. I'm going to give my opinion on this. You know, I'll try and not interrupt it too much, but then I'm going to speak about it towards the end. I might stop it every now and then. But without further ado, here we go.
West Ham fans, Nuno says he wants to fix the disconnect between the fans and the club. Is he on a hiding to nothing? That's a question. Ryan's a big West Ham fan. He's first up. Ryan, good morning. Thanks for joining us, mate. What do you want to say?
How's it going? I just want to go on to Stuart's comments, if I can, about the stadium.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I heard him say that Upton Park was old and dated.
The bowling ground that was bloody awful, by the way. It had character and it had history.
Awful in what way?
Oh, listen, it was dated. That's why you move stadiums, you know what I mean?
Now, I'm a West Ham fan. I've been a season ticket holder all my life until a couple of years ago. Now, Stuart, to me, is a legend at West Ham, but I find that a bit of a kick in the teeth to say that about the bowling. It's not old or dated. It had heritage and it had soul and it brought an energy to it that this stadium that we're in now will never have. You know, if you look at the generations of West Ham fans that have come in and out of those turnstiles at the bowling ground, and if you look at the players that have played there, Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio. Now, like it or not, those people and those players, they left a mark on that stadium, and there's an energy that is left there. And since we have left that ground, you can see in the way that we play, in the way that supporters react to the football, that is what is missing. And I actually think that has been the missing piece to West Ham getting any sort of consistency at all. And I think that any manager that comes, no matter how good or bad they are, I think West Ham is a poison chalice for that reason. I think it is the reason that we have left the stadium that made us a threat. You know, if there was anything about playing West Ham, you know, you were up against it. You were up against that crowd, and it was difficult, and no one really wanted to play there. You hear people on Talksport talk about it all the time. Now, Upton Park is a pleasure for teams to come and play.
Yeah.
And I believe that is a huge reason, not the only reason. I'm not stupid enough to think that that's the only reason West Ham aren't kicking on and pushing on, but that is a huge reason. That's why the West Ham is not West Ham as it was before, and is why the fans will always be in the situation that they are in now, and they will never accept the new stadium. They will never accept.
So Ryan, if you're never going to accept it, and others are never going to accept it, Nuno's on a hiding to nothing, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sure. What would you say to Ryan?
Well, firstly, I don't disrespect any of the history that's gone from Upton Park. That is for sure. You know, I used to hate going there as an away player. I used to love playing there in a West Ham shirt. Make no mistake about that. So I've experienced both. What I would say is, because of the financial situation of football nowadays, the club had to go to a bigger stadium, wherever that was. Now, whether the Olympic Stadium's the correct one to go to, or whether the club would have been better off going to a purpose-built stadium that was more football-related, that Crookie has sort of mentioned about earlier. I can see that. But the bottom line is, the club are at the Olympic Stadium. My mentality would be this. If we're going to, and when I say we're, West Ham fans, if you're going to constrict yourself and say, no matter how much history is going to go on in this stadium, we're not going to accept it, you're just constraining yourself, you know, and you're knocking down yourself from the inside almost.
Is that fair, Ryan?
So what I would say to that, I'd also revert back to what Stuart said about what West Ham fans want is a good cup run, 8th, 9th or 10th. So we do not need a 60,000 Olympic stadium to be that team. I look at Crystal Palace and I envy Crystal Palace. They've still got their ground. They play good football. Even though they might float in the bottom half of the table for a couple of years, then they kick on. And they've just got, they have what West Ham, they have a fraction of what West Ham had. They have a fraction of that. We used to be a team, you know, with so much soul, even going back to the Alan Pardew days, you know, even then. And, you know, all West Ham fans want, you're bang on. We want a good cup run, 8th, 9th, 10th. We want to bring some young players through. And then every now and then we'll have a bit of a purple patch. We might even kick on for Europe.
Wait for it.
West Ham fans.
But Ryan, really, I would say, mate, you had that with David Moyes and Stuart Pearce.
Yes, we will definitely.
Great answer, by the way, coming up.
Stuart Pearce under Harry Redknapp, that's for sure.
In the new stadium.
Well, in a minute. He got this bit wrong.
You had that.
Yeah, with Stuart Pearce under Harry Redknapp, that was Upton Park, wasn't it?
No. But you reached the Europa League semi-final, did you not? You won the Conference League, and then very quickly that following season, pretty much the whole fan base turned against David Moyes because they didn't like the football. Do you regret that now?
So what I would say on that, West Ham fans have a lot of respect for David Moyes, and that purple patch which you allude to, those 2-3 years, that was really masking over the cracks, and it was only a matter of time before that was going to fall. And as you know, the performances started getting worse. We started falling down the table, and it wasn't.
Okay.
David Moyes couldn't maintain it. And if he could maintain it, then we would continue to mask over those cracks. However, it couldn't be maintained, and that's not a reflection on David.
Right, I'm going to pause it for a second, but if you just look at the faces of these presenters, Jim White and Stuart Pearce, and that arrogant twat Crookie. Now, I've just realised I've basically put myself on Talksport. It's the only way they're going to get me on there, isn't it? I mean, they can't afford me. They'd never have me on there. They just wouldn't. Not someone like me, you know, too opinionated. But these people, each of them, do you know what? You're going to listen to them, and I couldn't have put my points across any better than any of these people that phoned in. They were all fantastic. You know, this guy was so skilled with the way that he approached Stuart Pearce initially, where he said, you know, I do really respect you, but, you know, I kind of completely disagree with what you're saying about this club. Now, the reason that I'm going through this video is because what's happened is Sullivan acted with Potter to sack him, brought Nuno in, and now he thinks that is it. That's it. He's done enough. That's going to kill the process. They're going to shut up. The plebs are going to be quiet, and then we're going to go away, and I can carry on coining it in and basically just screwing this club up. Bear in mind, the capacity of Upton Park have basically walked away from that new stadium now within 9 years. That is a fact. They have completely and utterly diluted this fan base. They have killed it, and it's got nothing to do with can Nuno get the fans back on side. He's got the fans on side. We always support the team. We always do. You know, was us protesting against the board, was that the reason we've been crap for 3 years? Is that the reason we almost got relegated in that season where we won the Conference Cup? Is it? And they keep on harping back to that Conference Cup. You know, well, you moved into that stadium, you won that cup. That cup didn't exist when we was at Upton Park. It's a 7th place cup. That's what it is. You know, we've finished up there several times. And look at what Crystal Palace are doing now in a comparative tiny stadium. Look at what Bournemouth are doing. Look at what Brighton are doing. But each of these people, they've been briefed by Sullivan, by Brady, to now go on a charm offensive. We've had weeks and months of the mainstream media being on our side, you know, revealing all of the dirty secrets and the terrible running of this football club. It's all out there in the open now. They can't put it back in the box. You know, Pandora's box been opened now. You can't. That's it. But if you have a look at their faces, you know, they want to try and control the narrative. They want to try and force us to just swallow it and accept what we're given, and that is that. And it's got nothing to do with Nuno. It's got nothing to do with it at all. We will support Nuno. We will support the team. And we will force these owners out 100%, because ultimately that's the only way that a manager like Nuno will ever get sufficiently backed and be able to succeed in the way that he possibly could. Without these owners going, Nuno will fail. If not this season, then next, because they all do. Anyway, I'm going to carry on letting these guys talk. These are brilliant calls, by the way.
That's just a reflection on
Ryan,
on potentially the ownership getting rid of players like Declan Rice, even though we had to. It's just West Ham aren't the giant that can keep growing and growing.
You've made some very good points. I wonder if Mel, who's another West Ham fan, agrees with you. Nuno's on a hiding to nothing, according to Ryan. Do you agree, Mel?
Well, to be honest with you, look, I mean, I respect Stuart. I love Stuart when he played for West Ham. I personally believe when Alan Irvine and Stuart were there, managing West Ham alongside David Moyes, we had some good times. As soon as Stuart left and Alan left, that's when the performances started to go on the decline.
Yeah,
I was a West Ham season ticket holder at Upton Park for years. I was a season ticket holder at.
Sorry to interrupt you, mate. That is brilliant. That has taken the wind completely out of their sails. Stuart, it was brilliant when you was there, mate, and Alan Irvine, but as soon as you went and it was just Moyes, it was a bit crap. And look, this isn't an attack on Moyes. This is an attack on them using Moyes to bash us with constantly. Yes, David Sullivan and Karen Brady, even though Sullivan wanted to get rid of David Moyes because he had carte blanche over transfers, that's the reason he got Tim Steidten in. That's the reason he told David Moyes that he was going to have to report to Tim Steidten. So Moyes went, well, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to leave. So he could come out and say, well, Moyes left. We offered him a contract. He didn't sign it. And as soon as Moyes was gone, when Lopetegui come in, did Steidten have full power? No, he didn't. It was all a game. But they use that as a stick to beat West Ham fans with. They're basically saying that we've been a failure since then because we forced the board to get rid of David Moyes. That's why this keeps on getting peddled out. And I love that angle that caller took. You know, it was brilliant, well thought out. Well, it was all right while you was there, Stuart, but then it went a bit bandy, mate.
Stadium for 2 years. There's a massive disconnect at the stadium. It's toxic. There's no atmosphere. It's like a library, and we ain't West Ham anymore. We are not West Ham anymore. We've lost that. The fans have lost the passion. It's reflected on the field. But you know what? It's all down to the ball. They're penny pinching constantly, picking up players, freebies. We've had 48 strikers in their tenure. 48 strikers. That is ridiculous.
Mel, let me ask you. Nuno says he wants to fix the disconnect between the managerial level and you lot. Are you going to help him do that?
Well, do you know what? I'm going to give Nuno time, like I would have given Potter time. He's got to try and bring a bit of unity with the team. But you know what?
That guy's face pisses me off.
Campaigning for that ball to go. They need to leave. They've taken this club as far as they.
The look of utter condescension in Crookie's face when he's listening to an actual fan, make a good point that is taking them away from the narrative that they want to push. Honestly, they look at us like pieces of shit on this channel. They do. On Talksport. In general, I'm telling you. We're just the plebs that they want to try and manipulate for their money men at their clubs. They're not the channel for the fans. No, they're not. No, they're there to help manipulate the fans.
Apart from them selling up and going and letting the club move forward and give the fans something they really deserve, because there's nothing better than West Ham fans and passionate West Ham fans. Stuart knows that.
Mel, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think David Sullivan at this moment in time wants to sell the football club, regardless of your protests. So with that in mind, is there not a danger that these protests are just having a detrimental impact on the team and the environment? Do you not all need to be united now to get out of the relegation scrap that at the minute you're in?
Honestly, so we've got to get behind the board to help Nuno. No, we have fucking not. We protest against the board, and then we show absolutely in that stadium, when we're away, when we're at home, to the best of our ability that we can do, that we are behind Nuno and we are behind that team, and it has got nothing to do with them that we are protesting against the board. That's it, from the off. Nuno, it will be very clear to him. We'll be cheering him and we'll be on his side. He'll have a look outside. We're protesting against a board. It's got nothing to do with him. What we're trying to do is campaign to give him the tools to go on and be successful. Because currently, those people that are in charge, they're going to hamstring him and shoot him in the foot like they do with everyone else. Honestly, I could never go on with these people. I like Stuart Pearce, but that smug fuck Jim, and him especially, mate.
That, and I understand that, and it could reflect on the team. But the fans are sick and tired of the lies and the penny pinching and everything else. And the only way we're going to move forward is by them going. Can't they understand that this club, we're going to be at this club until we die. They're going to be at this club until they sell up. They really don't care about the club.
Would you take a nation state owning your club over what you've got at the moment?
Oh, damn right. Something.
All right.
Something.
Not the answer you wanted, Jim, is it? Yes, we want any change now. You know, of course, we'd love a West Ham fan, a rich West Ham fan to come in to come and sort us all out. But we're at the stage now where we need change. The people that have done this, we will not heal completely as a fan base. People that have left will not come back. We'll never get that West Ham feeling back until they go. When they go, we will start to heal. Honestly, this just exposes these mainstream channels for what they are. It does. Another brilliant call. Whoever you are, fantastic, mate. Well done. 2 brilliant calls so far.
Mel, thanks for that. James, so many West Ham fans. James, you're the next. What do you want to say on this disconnect, mate, this perceived disconnect between the likes of the management and the support? In other words, Nuno wants to fix it. You're going to try and help him do that?
Morning, Jim. Morning, Stuart. Morning, Crookie.
Morning, James.
There is a disconnect, let's be honest. And I just want to say thank you, Jim, for the platform that you and Simon provide. Because as an ex-owner, Simon, his opinions and dialogue, whether I like them or not, he allows that. And no other owner does that. Our owners haven't got the minerals to engage with us. They don't want to know us. So I think what we'll say is that Nuno's come in there and I think we all like Nuno. He's one of those managers that we've all appreciated what he's done. So he's come in, he's going to inject some excitement. He's trying to bring us on board. But this has started to be a massive rant about our owners, and I want to sidebar that because the first question was, and Stuart nailed it, he said, look, our players have played above their station, right? He's bang on. We're too easy to play against. We can't defend a corner. We make it easier for teams to come to the London Stadium. It's a nightmare, our stadium. But the lack of defending last night, the lack of press and the pressure led to the Everton goal. How many corners? I'm fearful for every single corner that happens. So our players previously, how we won the European Cup, basically what happened was our players played above their stations, right? I hope Nuno can get it. I really do. He's got our support. Our players and our manager will always have our support. Our board, nah.
Yeah, but what I would say, James, is quite recently the owners met with the fans, didn't they? And took grievances on board, then put out a statement to the effect that they're working.
They didn't meet with the fans. They've got regular meetings in with the fan advisory board like every Premier League club has to do to meet the rules of the Premier League and the new IFR that are coming out. Fan engagement's important. That is a group of people that are normally quite compliant with them, and they came back and smashed them in the teeth with a vote of no confidence from their 25,000 members. And what that statement was a response.
Is that not enough?
1,000-word statement.
They are engaging with you, James.
1,000-word statement. It was a joke. I honestly read it and I thought, they don't care about us.
Full of lies. 100 million net spend a year. Full of lies. Every time they open their fucking mouth, it's a lie.
They don't want to know us. They haven't got the minerals really to engage with us because they just put out a 1,000-word statement rather than address us as a fan base. I think the rest of the West Ham fans are with me on this. They just don't care for us.
You do hear from them, though, James. I mean, Karen Brady was on one Sunday morning with Henry Winter and Sean Custis.
Wasn't she back in Graham Potter, though?
She was at the time, yeah.
Yeah, she was at the time. That was a few weeks ago, Jim. And they backed him in that statement. And Cole McCauley. They were part of the new strategy change, you know? They were bigging him up. That was about a week before he got sacked.
Yeah, and straight away, next thing you know...
But she did say ownerships care. They care.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck what they say? We know that they don't. They only care about the money they fucking make individually. They don't care about anything else.
Well, it certainly doesn't feel like it. I'm a West Ham fan, Jim,
Definitely
all my life.
couldn't do
Doesn't
this.
feel like they care at all.
James, listen, thanks for the call. Andrew, you're going to take us to the break. Tell me about this disconnect and how Nuno might go about
Andrew,
trying
well
to
done,
sort it, bridge the gap between the likes of his level and you.
Why do I just want to smack
Morning,
that
gents.
geezer?
Great show as ever.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, no, I just want to just point out the fact that something that was picked up and said before, we don't need this great big London stadium. Just look at the likes of Brighton, Brentford, Palace, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Look at the players that played in the West Ham shirt at Upton Park. We don't need this big fancy 60,000 seat stadium. We've never claimed to be a European team. We were happy as we were at Upton Park. That just needed regenerating. That's all it needed doing. And all these lies about going to this stadium to become a European team, I can't see how people can't see it. Non-West Ham fans don't pick up on it, especially you commentators and people on Talksport. You cannot see how they've told us they're going to do that, take us to this stadium, and nothing has happened.
Well, you have won a European trophy in this stadium.
Mate, listen, be honest. You said something earlier on. I wanted to bring that up, and I'm not going to go to it. You can't keep banging on about that. If in all fairness, that was the worst season we've had so far in the Premier League for a long time, right?
But you won a cup.
Awful.
Champions of Europe, you were singing after that.
Let me finish. You said enough already this morning, right?
Well done, mate.
It was the worst season of football we ever played in the Premier League. That was horrendous. We got absolutely schooled in that final. We had one chance and we scored and we nicked it with Fiorentina. Fiorentina battered us that night. It's no coincidence that as soon as, and I've got to praise that man till next year, there's no coincidence that as soon as Pearce and Irving left that club, the football deteriorated rapidly, instantly. Football, it was horrendous. Last night is an example. Any other manager with that Everton team, they'd go and take 3 points off us.
Andrew, I'll jump in. You and I will take us to a break. Here's this. How old are you?
46.
Yeah. You're at the London Stadium, mate, and you ain't moving anytime soon. You'd concede that, wouldn't you? That's where you're going to be playing your football.
Mate,
by the time you're 50, by the
team.
time you're 56, by the time you're 60, West Ham will probably play their home games at London Stadium. Is it not time to embrace it and try somehow to get on with it?
We have tried, Jim.
Mate, we'll always buy a season ticket. We'll always turn up.
We'll always
do that. We support whoever the manager is. We just need to stop being lied to by this outfit that's running this club. That's all we need.
They would push back on that, but Andrew, I take your comments, and we appreciate the time you've given.
Brilliant call, Andrew. Fantastic. Well done for putting Crookie in his place as well. Because all that geezer is there to do is to rile up the fans and talk bullshit. They can't. The only thing that they had to throw back at us there, do you regret getting rid of David Moyes? What difference does that make? With any of the arguments that we've been making in this protest movement, what difference does it make? All of the points that were made by them callers were made brilliantly. They really were. And this is a thing. I do think that, well, that is the only way I'm getting on Talksport, because they wouldn't have me on there anyway, and I wouldn't be able to hold it down. I'm too passionate. I am. Just their faces would piss me off, and I'd end up, going off on one. Because they're just lying to you, and they're trying to control you, and they're trying to mug you off as well. That's what they want to do. They want to see a reaction. And I think each of those fans did the entire West Ham fan base a massive, massive service there. You did, and it's times like that when like for me, with what I've been doing with the Petition and Hammers United and Crossed Hammers and all the other West Ham channels that have been getting involved, sometimes you feel like you're on your own. You hear things like that from 4 different fans and you realise you're not. You realise we are united. West Ham are united. We're going to support this team. We're going to support Nuno. We're happy with Nuno. We know he's the best that we can get at the moment, and I think he could be a good manager. We're going to get behind him, and we are going to get behind getting this balled out. Because if we want any manager to succeed, if we want Nuno to succeed, if we want the best players, we know that this board has got to go. We ain't going to listen. So you can keep on pulling on favours, Sullivan, to your people in the media. You can keep doing that. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to wash. We ain't going away. We're going to be boycotting against Brentford. We're going to be protesting away at games. And we're going to be marching before Burnley. and we're going to be handing in that petition. And if you haven't got your name on that petition, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you do. bsout.co.uk. We are not going to let these people win. We're going to get it all back. Looks like we've got a little bit of pride in our team back now. That's good. We want it all back. Everything. And that means getting these people out. Anyway, look, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.